everyone, Kyle here from Poseidon's Pets. Welcome to the live stream. Excited to be here. Can't wait to talk about shrimp with all of you guys. Hope everybody is doing good. So welcome. All right. So let's see. Looks like we got Lady Rorschach in here, as well as Glows and Rob from Shrimp Envy. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are all doing good. So we did it. We hit our 5K subscriber mark. So thank you guys so much for, all the support over this last couple months and everything that you guys do for us. Excuse me, I'm fighting off some type of cold after I got my wisdom teeth out. Had some chest congestion and almost didn't stream today. It's been a long week. It's been a long couple months. I feel like I've been sick for the last 6 weeks now. So bear with the scratchy voice. I apologize, but hopefully it passes soon and I'm 100% and I can get back to my weekly streams and weekly videos and all that good stuff. I forced myself into the stream this week because I know I missed the last couple weeks for health reasons, as well as just busyness with the holidays. And so I'm glad to be here, glad to be streaming again with you guys. And today we're going to be doing a Q&A. So if you have any shrimp-related questions, any fish-related questions, I'll do my best to answer any questions you guys have. So I want to give a big shout out to all of my members. Thank you guys so much for the continued contributions. You guys are amazing. And I want to announce that YouTube has changed the emojis parameters so we can have more emojis. So believe it or not, for the amount of emojis I have, I only need 2 more subscribers to hit that mark. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm looking at something different. But it looks like they changed things. So, but emoji bomb for all of my members out there. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Tim says, did you all know Kyle opened up an online store? Poseidon's Pets. You can also do a command, so website. That should pull up the same thing. Tim, with the new membership, thank you, sir. Definitely appreciate it. Do you have a wrench, Tim? Tim, you should have a wrench. Yeah, you got a wrench. You're good. All right, let's see who else has joined. Excuse me. Rob says 5.12 subscribers. Yes, it's been going up drastically. So definitely appreciate everything. We'll be at 6,000 before we know it. I'm going to be at 5,500 before I even do the giveaway with how fast it's been growing. So you guys are awesome. Definitely appreciate every single one of you and all the support you show us. And, I have a lot of fun creating content. I have a lot of fun coming in here and hanging out with you guys and talking shrimp. And, we're all shrimp nerds. We all have fun and enjoy it. So Tim says, Kyle, Daniel Valles, welcome to the stream. Aaron's Water Buddies, how are you, man? So go check out Aaron's channel. He just recently started creating some content. So if you want to help out a new YouTuber, go check him out. Brain fart. Just catching up on chat. Tim says, no, Amber, you are awesome. Go says, hope you feel better. Also wins the giveaway. So I already posted the giveaway announcement on my YouTube channel. So you guys should get notifications for that. But it is February 1st. So next week, a week from now on Wednesday, we're going to be doing that 5,000 subscriber giveaway. So definitely excited for that. I've got some stuff I'm going to give away. Rob from Shrimp Envy has some stuff he's going to give away, as well as Michelle Morgan and John Morgan. They said they're going to help out. So we got all kinds of stuff. Super excited for it. So definitely tune in next Wednesday for the big giveaway. Tim says, yeah, I'm a tool. I mean, I have a wrench. Aaron says, I appreciate your knowledge. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to help. Planarian, best way to avoid and remove, depends on who you talk to. Some people swear by beech nut, which is like your no planaria and zero planaria. I like using fenbendazole. They both will affect your bacteria in the tank. So with soft water tanks like Caridina, you already have a hard time creating that bacterial colony. So just be careful when dosing anything. If you have a large planaria population, get a trap. Use a trap to get rid of the planaria, get rid of most of them, and then dose it with some chemicals. Because if you dose right away with chemicals, all the dead bodies of the planaria is going to break down and cause an ammonia spike, and it's not good. If you could catch most of them and get them out of there, whatever dies off, your shrimp are going to eat, and that'll help to break down the tank. I would recommend not feeding your tank for a week. So if you're dosing chemicals like this, don't feed the tank, and don't feed the tank prior. So you want to feed your tank some food and then give it a good 4 or 5 days, no food. Your shrimp will be fine, and then dose the tank. And then, a couple days later, do a water change, and then just kind of check things out. But if you have 1 or 2 planaria, it's not that big of a deal. Just don't feed a lot, and they won't get out of control. Using the meds for that, you can. But if you have hundreds of them, then just be careful, because it'll wipe a whole tank if you're not careful. You could ask Tim about no planaria and having fun with that. Tim posted Aaron's channel. Yeah, so if you want to go check out Aaron's Water Buddies, go check him out. Take a note of it so you can go see after the stream. We were talking a little bit on one of the YouTuber pages and giving him some pointers. Brady Phillips says, I am newer to shrimp. I have a question. I set up a shrimp tank for a crystal red shrimp about 2 weeks ago. I have a bunch of snails and some smaller nanofish to cycle, and a cycled sponge filter. Parameters are good. So are we talking crystal red shrimp or cherry red shrimp? Because CRS can go either way depending on how you know it. Glow says, what time is the giveaway? So 5 o'clock our time. So same time as now. So basically a week from now. Brady says, sorry, ran out of room. How much longer until I should get shrimp? How long have you had it going? About 2 weeks. I usually say about 30 days, 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what type of substrate you use. That way you can definitely make sure that, there's some bio life in there and the tank's been stable. And is it soft water Caridina shrimp or Neos? So crystal red shrimp or cherry red shrimp? Scoop says, how can I tell if I'm overfeeding or underfeeding? All the fish scraps are gone by the morning. All the fish scraps are gone. Any food that is left over after an hour shouldn't be. So only feed enough that they could eat within an hour. If you have any food left over, you're overfeeding. Jamie says, sup all, driving. Welcome to the stream, buddy. Xanadu, hello, Fish Fam friends. Thanks for the stream, Poseidon. No problem, Xanadu. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Kevin Tam says, what bacteria do you use? So I don't really use bacteria too much. I will use SL Aqua's magic powder during startup, and I use Bacter AE and Shrimp Fit. And I just use 1 scoop of that per startup per tank, and that's it. I'll sprinkle it on the soil and then add water, and I just let it do its thing. So all my bacteria pretty much just shows up naturally. And then what I do is I'll take my sponge from another tank and I squeeze it in the tank. So I pre-indoctrine, or I culture my own tanks with current bacteria from successful tanks. If I have a tank that's not doing well, I won't use that sponge. I usually take the sponge from a tank that's really healthy, really thriving, because I know the bacteria in there are good. So the best bacteria you can use is from an established tank because you know it's live. There are some bacteria supplements you can get that are live cultures in little vials that you break the top and then you can use that. But it's all natural. So if you have a tank that's going, you don't need to go buy bacteria. I know a lot of people will use powdered bacterias, but I don't feel it's necessary. Amber says, glows that will be on the stream at this same time next week. Boots and Cats, hello, how are ya? Tim says, Kyle, do you have a shrimp wish list? Curious some varieties you hope to someday have. Yes, so I do have a shrimp wish list, and most of the time my problems are either tank space or funds because running a shrimp room isn't cheap. Just filter cartridges alone for RO and everything else, it starts to add up. But I would love to get some blue lapis or some what is it, the orange eye lapis. I'm drawing a blank right now. As well as I want to get some red tigers. So red tigers are really, really pretty. Some real nice orange eye red tigers. That would be ideal. Tim says the no planaria definitely worked to get rid of them following package instructions, but be warned. It can crash cycle 1.2 ammonia for a couple days and unhealthy shrimp, 90% water change, 2 days. Yeah. So the beautiful thing about Caridina shrimp and a soft water tank with low pH, ammonia is bound as ammonium in lower pH cooler tanks. So if your tank is below 75, if it's below 6 pH, your ammonia isn't very toxic. It's bound as ammonium. So your tank can usually catch up to that cycle if you have an ammonia spike. The time you need to worry about ammonia is if you have like Neocaridina in a hard water tank, basically anything over 7 pH. If your pH is above 7, that's where you start to see that ammonia where that ammonium starts to become ammonia, and that's toxic. So you got to be careful. That's the nice thing with the Caridina shrimp is you don't have to really worry too much about ammonia. It's more your nitrite and nitrates that you got to watch out for. The other thing too is beneficial bacteria has a hard time surviving in acidic water. It's got a hard time surviving in that low pH. So it's already a struggle to build bacterial colonies. So that's why you see some of these meds wiping out those colonies pretty easy. Brady says, crystals, sorry. Yeah, after about 4 weeks, you should be good. That leads up to my last statement of with Caridina tanks, just 4 weeks, let the pH stabilize. Some people will even add shrimp right away, which you can. If you already have snails and stuff in there and everything's doing good, you start to see some like seed shrimp and microfauna and flora. If you got algae growth, if you've got detritus worms, if you see like that little, the micro life, if you start to see the micro life, usually that's a sign like go ahead and add shrimp. Shot by Tess says, I have seen 4 and siphoned 3 of them. Yeah, if you want to put a planaria trap in there and don't use chemicals, you could do that. Just keep an eye on it. Half the time when people see planaria, it's not even really planaria. It's either the rhabdicola or just like detritus worms or some other flatworm. The shrimps never go for the food till about an hour of sitting at the bottom. So that's a sign that your shrimp aren't hungry. So give it 3 or 4 days, don't feed, and then add the food. So feeding Vibra Bites from Hikari. Is this a shrimp only tank or do you have fish in there as well? Amber with the shameless plug. Yeah, you got to feed food they love. Shrimp Envy has some amazing food. And if you follow me on Facebook, you'll know that I'm going to be carrying Shrimp Envy's line of foods. So, or at least most of them. So go ahead and keep an eye on my website for this next week. We're going to go ahead and have some of their food on the website here shortly. Jamie says 5K Tesla giveaway is going to be amazing. So excited. Yeah, Tesla giveaway to myself. Brady Phillips says, can you instant start a tank like fish that you can buy? You can do anything you want. Will it be successful? It's kind of hard to say. Usually a couple weeks is my limit. Like give the tank a couple weeks, let it stabilize, and then, add livestock slowly. I know people argue that, but if you've been doing it a long time and just keep an eye on it, you'll learn from experience. If you do things too quick, too soon, stuff dies. So it just depends on how expensive your livestock is and how much of a risk you want to take with those animals' lives on setting up the tank too early. Just take some time, give it a week or two. I like 4 to 6 weeks. Thank you, Tolan Landenberger, for the super chat. You are amazing. Definitely appreciate it. All right, members, you know what to do. Everybody, emoji bomb for Tolan, however you say your name. I apologize if I am butchering it. But can you have endlers and shrimp in the same breeding tank? If you have enough hides or enough coverage for the baby shrimp, you can do whatever you want. So endlers are a smaller species of live bears. They tend to like more of your hard water, more alkaline tanks. So you can keep Neos with them if you want to do like cherry shrimp or blue dreams. My advice would be just get a lot of moss. And the thing with live bears is you can have a whole colony of guppies that don't touch your shrimp. You can go buy one new guppy, and that guppy is just a shrimp assassin, and he absolutely loves to kill all the shrimp. And it depends on the type of fish. And I don't mean like what type of fish it is, but each fish has a different personality. I know it sounds strange, but some fish leave shrimp alone. Some fish just absolutely hate shrimp and they need to die. So just keep an eye on them. If you see one fish that is starting to pick on your shrimp, maybe move that fish to another tank. But for the most part, endlers are a small live bear that shouldn't mess with them too much. Aaron's Water Buddy says, what are your thoughts on Vactor AE? My thoughts are that it is a quick way to kill a shrimp tank. So Vactor AE and me have a love-hate relationship. I will use it to start a tank, but I won't feed after that. I have seen too many issues arise after feeding Vactor AE, whether I feed a small amount, a large amount. If I do it once a week, twice a week, every other day, it just doesn't work out for me. I know a lot of people use it and have good success, but I tend to stay away from it. I use it when I start up a tank to get that microflora and fauna fed, because it's a powdered food. It'll help to create that micro life that you want. But besides that, I tend not to feed powdered foods. Amber says, Jamie, sorry to break it to you. I won the Tesla. You missed the giveaway. Where's this Tesla? Why am I driving a Chevy Equinox still? Yellowstone, how are you? Welcome to the stream. It says, hey, everyone. Brandon, welcome to the stream. How are you? Thank you guys for the questions too. So it makes the streams go a lot smoother when everybody asks a question or has questions, gives me topics to talk on, because I can sit here and talk to myself, but if I don't have a topic to go on, it makes things harder. Tim says, headed to Lowe's before they close so I can get the closed loop air set up finally. Nice. What pump did you go with? Just got home from work, so time to get my shrimp on. Yes, just need to build the funds for that one. So I've been looking at the just the Alita pumps for now. I want a Gemco linear piston, but if I can get like an Alita 60 or an Alita 40, I'd be okay with that. Brady says, yeah, sorry, I'm impatient. Thanks for the help. No, that's fine. It's just whatever risk you want to take. I know it's hard and it's exciting to set up a new tank, but it's better to wait. Yellowstone says, I sell PVC, so I'm spoiled and get to buy it at cost. There you go. Crip says, have a meadow blower. Haven't heard of that. Yeah, my whole rack is actually ran on Pawflies right now. So you can get 3 tanks comfortably with the amount of flow that I want. You can do 4, but it tends to slow things down a bit. I know they give you 4 outlets, but I like to do 3 tanks per Pawfly. So I've got 6 or 7 Pawflies up here. Let's see if I can see. So I got a bunch of them up there, and that's what I run my setup on. But you can tell it's pretty quiet in here. I don't think you guys can hear a lot of the background noise. Lady Rorschach says, blanket hello to everyone making dinner. Crip says 20 airdrops for now until rack 2 goes up. Hey, only Oscars, welcome to the stream. June says, I find shrimp in my pea buffer tank. I still have a package for you. Let's see. Kevin Tam says, do you like keeping a green wall? I tend to not try to grow algae. It's not intentional. It just doesn't really happen for me, and I've never really given it a thought. But I know there's a lot of people out there who it's very beneficial, and it helps to keep nitrates down. So if you can get it growing, then go for it. I know I use a lot of top floating plants, and that cuts my algae down because it keeps the nitrates low. Yeah, Rob says, I love green walls. Big Shrimpin, aka Steve, how are you? Mike Coleman says, I may know someone with an Elita 40. Welcome to the stream, man. How are you? Maybe we can make a trade or something. I need to get some more Spixie snails from you. Something happened in my Neo tank and I killed a bunch of them off. Later, Jamie. Take care, man. Thanks for popping in. Tim says, just pulled into Lowe's. Be back in chat in a few. Brandon says, is there a linear air pump that'll be suitable for a bedroom? It depends on how quiet you want it and how many tanks you're trying to run. Because a bigger air pump's going to have some noise to it for sure. So, and if you have enough outlets, it's going to dissipate that noise. Just depends on where you put it. You can always put it in a closet and just run the PVC that way. So it depends on how many tanks you're trying to run and how much airflow you need. Glow says, does an overflow system work well for shrimp? The thing with that is you have to find a way to keep the baby shrimp out as well as the shrimp themselves. So with overflow tanks, usually you have a weir, and that weir has slits in it and the water flows into that. You're going to get shrimp in there. You're going to get shrimp in your sump. So you either need to set up your sump to be able to catch the shrimp or put a piece of sponge up that protects your weir from the shrimp getting in there. But if you know anything about shrimp are great astronauts. If you put a piece of sponge in there and they can crawl over it, they're going to end up in your sump. So no matter what you do, most likely they're going to end up in your sump. So when that overflow falls into your sump, you want to make sure you have some type of barrier there to protect your shrimp from the pump, because otherwise your shrimp are going to get sucked into that pump and you're just going to feed the rest of the tank your shrimp. Tellin says, I want Galaxy red shrimp. Would endlers be okay with them, or would the acidic water kill the fish? They would be okay, but it's not, I would say it's probably not ideal. With the endlers, they probably want a more alkaline water, but fish are pretty adaptive. Nick Teeter says, I'm rocking an Elita 40 on my room. I wonder where I got the idea. Yeah, me and Nick were talking about different pumps and stuff, and I've looked at the Elitas, but I'm a go big or go home type of guy, and So for me, I've had to scale things down a little bit and be like, okay, you don't have to go get a Gemco 800 or whatever. It doesn't have to be this, $500 air pump for the shrimp room. You can get an Alita and get away with it. It'll be okay. And if I got to run two of them, then I got to run two of them. Aaron's Water Buddy says, is Shrimp Envy Complete better for Neos or Caradina? If Rob, you're still in here, you could answer that one. I would say it's probably good for both because most shrimp have the similar diets, so it's not going to affect them either way. I would say it's good for either. All shrimp, all fish. Hey. So if you guys are jumping in late, I've been fighting a chest cold for I feel like for 6 weeks. It's been awful. So that's why I haven't been streaming. I haven't been putting videos out. I just haven't been feeling well. Got my wisdom teeth out last week, so it's been a struggle here in the shrimp room. But life goes on, and I'm here for you today. So. Mike says, I'll bring you some to the swap. Just remind me. That'd be cool. Amber says, road trip to the west side to visit Mike. It's been a while. We should. Nick says, Aaron, I feed both Complete Envy to both Neos and Caradina, and they both love it the same. Big Dog, how much is your power bill? Run all the shrimp tanks. I live in Arizona. It gets to be 120 degrees outside, so our power bills usually is determined by how much we're running our air conditioner. Everything else doesn't really matter. Our electric costs are pretty low because they realize that we're going to be running our AC pretty much all summer, pretty much all year. So I wouldn't say I've seen an increase with the shrimp room. I'm sure it's maybe $20 a month or something. Nothing too crazy. Glow says, even with mesh, I'm telling you, shrimp will get to wherever they want to get to. If you've got a spot they could climb up on, they'll climb into your filter. Brady says, you were talking about the little things that swim around in your shrimp tank. Do they just appear? Pretty much. I don't understand where they come from. They probably just get transferred over from plants and stuff, but every single tank I have has some type of micro life in it, whether it's detritus worms or seed shrimp. You see little tiny stuff just swimming around in there. Rob says, Complete Envy is good for both Neos and Caradina. Good for fish too, so it doesn't have to be just a shrimp food. It's got all kinds of good ingredients in it, so it definitely works for all kinds of aquatic creatures. Amber says, Big Dog, we live in Arizona, so our bill varies greatly. We just built this house and haven't seen an increase. Yep, pretty much. Only Oscar says, what are the white things scurrying around the feeding dish? That is probably the seed shrimp I was talking about. So you can see that there's little tiny micro life in all my tanks. Definitely good for shrimp. Rob says, those are seed shrimp. Mike, I feed Shrimp Envy to all my shrimp and snails. Plecos love it too. Tolan says, what fish would go well with Galaxy Shrimp? I am a big believer that you keep shrimp only in shrimp tanks, but I'm a little biased there. So if you want to breed a lot of shrimp, don't add any fish. But there's all kinds of fish that you can add to a shrimp tank. It just depends on what kind of fish that you're looking to keep. I would stay away from any tetras. Most tetras are kind of aggressive. I know you wouldn't think they are, but they can be kind of jerks. I'm sure there's a lot of fish keepers in here. Maybe some other fish keepers can make suggestions for Caradina shrimp tank mates. I've had shrimp with drawing a blank. gouramis, the dwarf gouramis. I've had shrimp with Cory catfish, mollies, swordtails, guppies. Gambusia are kind of jerks to shrimp, so I would stay away from those. But like your endlers, your guppies, your mollies, some guppies can be kind of jerks too. So it just depends. But live bears aren't a bad option. Excuse me. But there's all kinds of fish that you can add. You can probably get some like Rasboras. Big Dog says, not over here. My power bill is $700. Mike says, nature finds a way. Absolutely. It always surprises me when there's stuff just floating in a tank. Absolutely. Northern Tide says, so many seed shrimp in my Neo tank. If you're noticing a lot, could be a sign of overfeeding. You should have a population of them, but it shouldn't be a lot. Oops. Aaron asked, do you use Repashy? I don't feed it personally, but I know a lot of folks do. I try to stay away from anything that has a lot of filler. So I'm not a big fan of Sarah brand food because it does have a lot of fish meal. It's got a lot of filler in it. My fish eat bug bites as well as Northfin because they don't use a lot of filler. So it's good quality stuff. Northfin Community. I feed Fluval bug bites, spirulina flakes. So those are my two go-to brands for food for fish. But I try to stay away from anything with the fish meal. New Life Spectrum makes really good fish food too. I'm a kind of a fish food snob when it comes to food for fish. Glow says, I ordered a lot of shrimp food recently and my shrimp love it. Rob, thank you. It's good stuff. All the shrimp love his food. So I'm feeding Shrimp Envy Complete right now. You can see they go to town for it. Mike says, my display tank has 5 types of shrimp with Galaxy Raspora and Chili Rasporas. See, great minds think alike. I was thinking Rasporas. Northern Tide, it's my Neo Farloella fry tank. I do tend to overfeed. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing as long as you're just watching out for it. Rob says, I have Chili Rasparas and Panda Loaches in my community cold tank, never in my breeding tanks though. Yeah, I've got a community tank with some Neos in it, and all the fish that I listed, they seem to be fine with them. The Neos tend to breed and have enough places to hide, so I figure if you have enough shrimp, they're going to breed and feed your fish. So if you're not breeding per profit and you're not trying to have a bunch of shrimp in there, then you should be fine. They typically won't go after the adults. It's the baby shrimp you got to watch out for. But if you have a lot of plants, a lot of moss, they'll find places to hide. Amber with this shameless plug. Don't forget to check out our new website, PoseidonsPets.com. Yes, we will be carrying the awesome Shrimp Envy food. Dylan says, are snails good in shrimp tanks? And if so, what kind of snails? I have ram's horns as well as pond snails in all my tanks. They just show up because of the plants. And it's a good way to keep your algae down, but also it's a good way to keep the extra shrimp food down. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't been feeling well. So snails are a great way to keep your overfeeding down. If you notice you have an explosion of snails, then you're feeding way too much. If you have just a few snails, then you know you're doing good and not overfeeding. I'm so ready to be over this. Like I said, like 6 weeks of just nonstop crud. And a lot of it is because I don't stop. I work 40 hours a week, come home and do YouTube, started the website. Like, I don't take time just to chill. Like this is my life. Like I go to work 8 hours a day like everybody else, and then I come home and the rest of my time is spent with Amber and the shrimp. And so it's hard when you get sick because your body's I don't stop long enough for me to get better. Mike says, when wanting shrimp and fish, I recommend starting the shrimp before adding fish. That's a good idea. Hey, thanks, Liquid Zoo. Appreciate it. Yes, we're super excited for the website. It's been fun. I'm glad to be able to, carry some stuff and help the community out. But it looks like the shrimp have kicked the food out of the dish. So let's go ahead and share my screen with you guys, but we'll go check out my website real quick. Da-da-da. All right, so this is our website right here. Let's go back to StreamYard. Hold on. Beep. There we go. So PoseidonsPets.com, and got all kinds of stuff on here. I recently got a 3D printer and have been making some different stuff here. So I have a bunch of moss that I grow myself. I have a miscellaneous moss, some Subwasser tang, moss I have no ID for, Taxiphyllum spiky moss, pointed spear moss, and then Hookerichia. Hooker moss is nice. It grows slow, so it's a little bit of a higher price point. It grows really, really slow. And then shrimp coming soon. No shrimp yet. But moss flats, these are really nice to attach moss to. So that way you can have something for your moss to grow on in the tank. And they're decent sized. Some of the fun things that I've been making though, babe, if you can bring me the underground filter boxes, I'd appreciate it. I wanna show those off real quick. So some of these right here, like these moss tables, these are really cool to attach the moss to. And then it grows nice in the tank. But I've been developing and creating random stuff with it. I've got a moss wall set up that you can attach moss to and hang on the side of the aquarium. But it's just a couple suction cups. You attach moss here, and then it hooks onto the side of the tank. And then these moss bridges are really neat. You can see it in the tank here. So just some fun stuff that I've been playing around with. And then we've got some hides. Thank you. And then what you're seeing here is a feeding tray. So this is what I feed my shrimp in. And some feeding trays can go for like $8 a piece. So I wanted something that was, economical for my shrimp tanks, because when you have 20 shrimp tanks, it starts to add up. We've got a couple hides for them to just hide in, and then a almond leaf holder. So I've got some pretty cool stuff that I've been working on and developing. Oh, what did I do? Hold on. All right, stop screen. There we go. So we'll go back here. I got rid of myself. So I wanted to make some underground filters, some underground filter boxes. So if you've been in the shrimp hobby long enough to know, a lot of folks use underground filters or underground filter boxes. So it's pretty simple. It's just a box like this. But what you do is you add buffering substrate. So you add like your Brightwell soil or your ADA Amazonia. And then I created a little stand. So the stand goes inside the box. Sorry for the noise. So it just sits right inside there. And then you have this filter plate. So the filter plate is attached to a uplift tube. Put the uplift tube in there, then you put a piece of sponge down, and then you fill this with substrate. You add an air line to it, the water comes out, and it basically sucks all the water through that buffering substrate. And it's a great way to lower your pH, and it's a great way to filter the tank by creating that, biome in the tank. I also made a smaller one because my first design was 6 inches. So that thing was massive. This is 4.75 inches. And I want to make the uplift tubes a little bit taller, but I was kind of playing around with some designs. 2 seconds. So it took me 4 iterations of this, just this elbow here. So if you look at it, it's just a simple elbow. This isn't even the newest one. So I needed it to be able to fit on this uplift tube, and then for the hose to be able to go inside. I also 3D printed an air stone. So I made my own air stones for it. So I made every component that I could without having to buy anything besides sponge and then the substrate. So that was kind of my thoughts and my brain, how things go. Basically, if there's something I need and I can construct it, then I designed it. So it's been a lot of fun. Mike says I need to drink more tank water. Yeah, that's how you build your immunities. It's good for you. Aaron says I make moss tunnels out of crochet mats. Yep, I've done the same thing. Yeah, Amber said that's what we started with. Misfit Reptiles, welcome to stream. How are you? Aaron says I love them. Brady says any tips for breeding crystal reds? Crystal reds are very prolific. As long as your water parameters are stable and you feed decent food, you will not have any issues breeding them. So crystal reds were the first shrimp that I started out with. They can survive in a pretty big range of water. And I feel like they don't need as lower of a pH of that like 5.5 or 5, like some of the Galaxy Pentos and some of the more shrimp need that lower pH. I feel like crystals will do okay at like 6.5. So as long as your water's stable, you're keeping things clean, and you've got a lot of moss and plants in there, they'll do okay. The thing with crystal shrimps is just consistency. Don't overthink it and keep things stable. Brady, you don't need to apologize. This is a Q&A live stream. You're giving me topics to talk on. I don't mind it at all. If you have a million more questions, keep it up. I've killed my fair share of shrimp over the last couple of years, and I have learned from my mistakes, and I have a thirst for knowledge that is never quenched. So any question you are asking, I can say the same thing to any of my friends on here, Rob, Mike Coleman, Jamie Anderson, Tim. They've probably listened to me ask the same questions over and over and overthink things till the cows come home. So don't feel like you're ever bothering me with questions, because there's always going to be questions, always going to be answers. And whether you ask those same questions again, that's fine, because I'll probably forget that I answered it for you. Tullen says, I hear snails are good for keeping the tank cycled. Is that true? Snails are a good addition to any shrimp tank. Shrimp love snail poop, and they do help to keep the tank going. So if you can get some large snails in a tank, like mystery snails or spixie snails, they're good to help that bioload. It's just you don't want too many of them. And the thing with big snails is if anything happens to them and they die, they can spike your ammonia pretty quick. So keep an eye on your large snails if you're going to keep them. But snails are great for keeping the tank cycled, I would say. Well, I appreciate all of you for jumping in here, and I appreciate all the questions. Does anybody have one more question for me? Because I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's been a long day, still not 100%. So I wasn't even going to stream today, but I figured, I haven't hung out with you guys in a while. I needed to needed to jump in and talk to you. I missed you guys. Aaron's Water Buddies asks, how well can Crystal Reds thrive with the sand substrate with stratum underneath? So if you're doing a sand cap, it all depends on how much of your substrate you have. I've never personally used a sand cap with a buffering substrate, but like I said, crystals are pretty hardy. If you can get your pH close to 6, you'll do okay. As long as you can get your pH close to 6, KH of 0, and then GH from 3 to 8. Crystals are pretty good. The sweet spot's about 4 GH, but as long as your water's stable, I would say it's fine. Just keep an eye on the pH. As long as it's not hindering the buffering capacity, you should be good. Rob says, don't forget the big giveaway next week. Spread the word. Absolutely. So our 5,000 subscriber giveaway is next week. I am going to be advertising the heck out of it on Facebook as well as YouTube. So I'm going to be a broken record. I expect to see at least 100 people in there next week. So, typically I average 25 to 30 viewers, and I want to see 100 of you guys. So go tell all your friends. We've got all kinds of stuff we're giving away, and there's going to be multiple winners. So it's not just this one big giveaway for one person, one and done. There's going to be a bunch of stuff, and I'm still toiling over what I'm going to give away. So we'll see. I may just do a gift card to the website and let you guys choose what you want. But let's see. Tolan says, what's your website? So, and website. Check that out. So PoseidonsPets.com. I made it super easy. Definitely appreciate you guys. And we're going to be doing a grand opening sale here soon. So definitely appreciate all of you folks who have put in orders already. You guys are awesome. We will be doing a grand opening sale here shortly. So keep an eye out for that. Definitely some good stuff. Mike Coleman with the last minute entry said, I'll toss something in to give away. Sounds good, Mike. I know we've got a couple gift cards. We've got some shrimp from Michelle and John Morgan. So definitely some good stuff. Message me later and we can get together to figure out something. But I definitely appreciate it. I love to be able to give stuff away to you guys. I love to be able to, help out. If I win the lottery, I would be like Mr. Beast, just giving away money, giving away free shrimp, all that stuff. So I would love to be able to do that. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Yeah, watch your mouth. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Oh, Lady Rorschach, yeah, you missed it. Sorry. Going to end the stream today just because I'm not feeling good. So you guys are amazing. Stay tuned for next week for the big giveaway. Definitely appreciate all of you. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Bye.